Hey guys, Dave from Nerdarchy, for nerds by nerds, hanging out with this nerd.
Nerdarchy Ted.
And today we're going to take a look and review The Mistwalker for 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons.
Jump down to the description below where we can sign up for Nerdarchy, the newsletter. Get weekly gaming tips, as well as learn how to game with Nerdarchy.
Alright, so in the description, you're going to find a link to DriveThruRPG where you can pick up your copy of The Mistwalker if you feel so inclined. I think it goes for $3.49. There was a brief window where you could have got it, pay what you want, but it is no longer so you can head over to DriveThruRPG and check that out if you decide to want to. So we're going to kind of review it, go over it, some of our thoughts on it. So you got the credit sheet in front of you.
I do. So this is designed by Cody Lewis. This is Taking 20 over on YouTube. Additional design by Daniel Lewis and Michael Hunt. Editing and layout by Cody Lewis. And art by Kim Van Dunn.
All right, so we got to see this in action a little bit during the Save or Dice game, Season 2. Now, I want to say from that, nothing really stood out to me. He did get to use his Mistwalker ability where he would teleport around, but nothing seemed too crazy. That being said, we only ever went to 6th level, and the game ended in a TPK. So I can tell you the class at 6th level is not so powerful that it will save your life under the right circumstances.
Now, this is a full class. It is a martial class. It is a D10 hit dice. You get light armor and shields, simple weapons, short swords, scimitars, and rapiers. You also get a poisoner's kit. Your saving throws are dexterity and intelligence. You get to choose 3 from acrobatics, deception, history, intimidation, investigation, perception, persuasion, sleight of hand, and stealth. So not a bad mix there. So you're already seeing, with it being heavily favored towards, finesse weapons, dexterity, and some of the dex skills. This is a martial class, but this is a dex-heavy martial class.
And skill-heavy, for that matter, too. Because in 5e, 3 plus a tool proficiency is pretty skill-heavy. Here's one of the first place where I kind of I'm not sure about this. And that's the toolkit. I almost feel like there should have been 2 choices here. Like Poisoner's Kit and something else. And I don't even know what that something else would be. Mm-hmm. It just feels odd because now you've kind of shoehorned the Mistwalker into this assassin role, in my opinion. And I want to touch on the fact that I think that it was written really well. Like the opening into what the Mistwalker is and the kind of the mythology. You have Cunning Warrior is one of the titles. Battlefield Strikers is one of the other ones. And there's this lore that's kind of built up around the idea of the mist, which I think would be cool for an organization, a monastery, a school, a tradition, something that you can incorporate into your game. I think there's a lot of role-playing opportunities there. And it kind of talks to them as either, possibly like battlefield assassins or, troubleshooters when it comes to war.
Yeah, I like what's here. There's a couple things that make it stand out and really be flavorful and fun. I think there's a couple of things that I would want to tweak or change to allow this into my game, but other than that, I think it's pretty good. The core concept of what this character class is the ability to essentially Nightcrawler, teleport around the battlefield. You're not teleporting multiple times around like you might see Nightcrawler doing, but you get a Mistwalk distance. It starts off right away at 30 feet, and at 20th level goes all the way up to 80, and your Mistwalk distance is how far you can teleport as part of your move action. If you wind up using some of your actual speed, you have to then do math and portionalize out how far that you can move and still teleport.
Yeah, it becomes half. You can use half your Mistwalker movement and half of your regular movement. At 20th level, that would give you a total of 55. So it's not too crazy in comparison to some other classes like the Monk. It's on par. Then we go into their other first level abilities, Unarmored Defense, which is they add their dexterity, their intelligence, and you can also incorporate shield as well. for all intents and purposes, it works like any other unarmed defense. You follow those rules. You pick the type of the method of using generating your armor class that you want, and you go with that. You can't add it to stuff.
So second level, you get a fighting style and your shroud and shroud abilities. You have shroud points that you get basically like a sorcerer. You start getting them at second level, you have 2. When you get up to 20th level, you have 20. You can see the rising scale there. It's pretty easy to follow.
They reset on a long rest.
Every Mistwalker has your basic shroud abilities, and then when you go into your subclass, your archetype, you get new shroud abilities based on which archetype you choose.
Right, and your saving throw is 8 plus proficiency bonus, plus your intelligence modifier. So that's why intelligence is really important for these guys.
So third level, you get your conviction, which is your archetype, and depending upon how you want to flavor them, you have conviction of the shroud, you have conviction of the blade, and you have conviction of the mind.
So yeah, none of them are like full castery, but how you're going to play them changes a little bit. Going through the levels, you get different abilities. The main abilities is your shroud abilities, like you said. They're going to change with your convictions. So you start off with 3, but then your convictions will give you more choices. So you get a bunch of them.
So some of these things kind of give me the battle mastery kind of feel. They don't work the same because they're more like sorcery points than superiority dice. But like some of them are tactical things. Other things are like spellcastery type things. So there's a lot of fun and interesting things that you can do with those shrouds.
Yeah, like the ones you actually get from the core class, cloaking mist, which is basically you can do like a fog cloud. So it's going to be more of a utility ability. You have Veiled Shield, which is a reaction. You can basically spend points to get a bonus to your armor class. This bonus increases as you go up in level. So it's almost like a minor shield ability. And then Jaunt is another reaction ability. You spend the shroud point. You can mistwalk up to half your mistwalk distance to another unoccupied space whenever you take damage. So it just makes you more mobile. Third level is Methodical Strikes. And this is like the first, after you mistwalk, the first time you take an attack. And it gives you a bonus to hit. This is an odd ability for 5th edition because of you're getting pluses to hit. And with Bounded Accuracy, every plus you get to hit is kind of a big deal.
Right.
And it ranges from +1 to +3 depending on your level. This is one area where I might raise a little bit of an eyebrow. It's not a huge bonus, but it just goes against 5th edition design a little bit.
So like the only thing that I really see is like the archery style that gives you a +2 to hit as just a flat bonus. So it's not too far removed from that. And if we look at the fighting style, they have dueling and 2-weapon fighting. So there's nothing that's giving them the bonus to hit there. So it's not horrible, but I do agree it doesn't fit the typical Bounded Accuracy 5th edition mindset.
Now, on the plus side, like you couldn't take this ability and stack it with archery because it is only for your melee attack. So that is kind of a mitigating factor.
And it's a single attack if you've mistwalked this turn.
Right.
So
which hopefully if you're a mistwalker, you're going to be mistwalking a lot. This seems like the thing they do.
I wouldn't see a reason why I wouldn't mistwalk. Like unless there's literally no other place to stand around the enemy that I'm fighting. Like his back is to a wall. He's got 3 faces in front of him, and me and my allies are there. Like, all right, I got nowhere to teleport.
Well, there's that. Also, it is worth pointing out when you do mistwalk, you have to have line of sight. You have to be able to see. So if you blind a mistwalker, it's really bad because then they can't use that core ability that they have. So that's going to be a detriment to them. And as a GM, that would be their soft spot to keep in mind. Drop a cloaker on them or a dark mantle, and they're kind of stuck. They can't just teleport out of it.
Magical darkness. Always fun.
One of your beefs though is, as a mistwalker, you can just mistwalk out of any grapple if you can see.
Yeah, that was my biggest thing about the mistwalk teleportation. There's no limitations on it. I can teleport out of an enemy's threatened area. I can teleport out of a grapple. there's no concentration effect, there's no limiting factor. I can just pop, and it's not a super fantastic ability, but it is something that might just save your neck at just the right moment.
Both the monk and the rogue can do those things, but the difference is they have to expend a resource or at least a bonus action at the minimum in order to do them.
They can't auto break a grapple though.
No, they can't auto break a grapple.
That to me is a big deal.
But a caster could. I mean, in theory, like I think most of the DMs I played with will let you Misty Walk out of a grapple.
Misty Step, yeah.
Or Misty Step, that's what I meant.
So, I mean, it's not game breaking, but to me it is something.
It's a thing.
It's a thing. Now, having a core concept of their class be related to this and be majorly susceptible to blindness. Okay, well then maybe that's the thing to do with these guys, and you get their goat when it happens.
So it is a warrior type, so they do get extra attack. Then at 6th level they get expansive mind, which basically gives them a reroll once per short rest against when you make an intelligence check. So you get that. Misty Escape. This is actually really good, but there is a point of confusion here for me. It's essentially evasion, where you can dodge the damage if you make a dex save, but you do it by Misty Walking. So what happens if you can't see? Can you still use this ability? Would it default to what are the rules for the Mistwalker for Mistwalking, or you just get to do the thing because that's the only thing I would ask. But I know Cody, so I can ask him. Hey, what happened? Tactical precision. This is one that does set up a little bit of a red flag because you're getting a nice significant bonus to damage, and you're getting to add your intelligence bonus to all your damage rolls.
So now I don't know if this is supposed to be you can use your intelligence instead of your dex or strength, or whether it's saying no, we're going to go ahead and add that on.
No, I would say it's add because it says add your intelligence modifier to damage.
So if it's just an add, to me that breaks the bounded accuracy, that breaks the norm for what's out there. And
I'd almost rather see this be like a die that's conditional, like add a die 8, add a die 6, and after I miss walk or something like that.
Right.
Because that to me that feels like that fits better with the 5e. But it's a small thing. I don't. It's not a ton of damage. Like if you're fighting with 2 weapons, and you hit with all three attacks.
It's an extra 15 points of damage.
Yeah, 20. So, and so you get that at 9th level. 9th level, you might have a 20. So it's not huge. You have to hit with all the attacks, but it's something to look at.
So 10th level, you get honed mind. This is where you essentially have the ability to trade out your saving throws. If you make a wisdom or charisma save, you can use your intelligence modifier instead. Not a bad idea, but
yeah. So I mean, the weird thing about this, it's like half your intelligence modifier is the number of times you can do it. So you should probably say half your intelligence modifier, minimum of 1.
There's a couple of times that like some of the typical like 5th edition, grammarisms. I would think would be able to make this look a little bit better. One of them.
It could probably use a once over that way. Misty Vision is their 13th level ability, and that is basically you get blind sight at 15 feet. Not bad. It is kind of it's not as good as blind sense from the rogue, so it's not bad because you can still sneak up on someone with blind sight. It's just that they don't need to see to perceive you. But if they make a stealth check, you would have to use a perception against that. So you're not going to be automatically knowing that they're there.
So 17th level, you get Misty Form. You essentially can cast Mirror Image as a bonus action without requiring spell components. And you can use this a number of times equal to your intelligence modifier per day. Again, that would be minimum of 1, I would imagine.
And then at 18th level, to kind of cap off the core... Oh, no. Not the cap off, but we're getting closer to capping off. You have Greater Mistwalk at 18th level. This actually just lets you use the teleport spell.
If you If you go by yourself, it resets on a long rest. If you take somebody else with you, it resets in 1d6 days. This is another one of those weird mechanics that doesn't fit the typical 5e thing. Nothing I've seen from anything else ever takes longer than a long rest to reset.
Now, granted, we might be a little biased. Like we're a little off put by weird mechanics until we see wizards through them.
Now, I don't have a problem with that. I like flexibility, and I would much rather have, I can use this now and just take longer to get it back and do more with it than to say, well, I'll do it again tomorrow. So I have zero problem with that one as is. 20th level, you get a mist clone, and essentially you pull forth from the mist a mist duplicate of yourself. It is yourself in every way, shape, or form, except for whatever equipment you have, and it fights with your stuff, except it uses it does magic damage as opposed to whatever sword damage you would be doing.
So the only thing with this ability is essentially it just doubles all of your actions because the clone can pretty much do everything that you're doing in combat. So there is nothing else in the game that really does that. Right. It's interesting and different, but at the same time, it might be pretty strong. It depends. 20th level abilities are weird in 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. Some of them are amazing and some of them suck. This is definitely one that does not suck.
But, the interesting thing about this one is, like, it doesn't technically threaten a square because it can't take reactions.
Okay.
You have the ability to take... It can take the attack action, including any extra attack that you might have. If you are using 2 weapons, it can fight with 2 weapons. The clone can interact with an object. It can mistwalk up to half your mistwalk distance as part of an action, and the clone can take the help action. Other than those things, it can't do anything else except for try to break out of a spell or break a grapple, that kind of stuff.
It's essentially there to double your attacks. This is kind of what it seems like. So it's like an action surge that lasts a really long time.
Right. So
and lets you use the bonus action over and over again to make attacks. So it's kind of really good.
It's really good. Some might say it's too powerful. I don't know whether this is counted as a magical effect. So if somebody casts a spell magic on it, I don't know how that would wind up working. So I think there would need to be some kind of clarifications as to exactly what this is. And again, I think there would be some verbiage cleanup that would need to be done in this.
So I think, let's see, we have our convictions. Conviction of the Blade is the first one. 3rd level, you get some more options to use for your shroud abilities.
You get Forceful Jaunt, Violent Jaunt. 7th level, you get Mist-Imbued Weapons. This means the weapons that you hold count as magical.
11th level is Misty Mark. Is basically you spend an action, you can mark a target for the basically for the rest of the duration of that mark. You're going to do an additional die 10 force damage. That's not bad. I would actually like to see more mechanics like that than some of the other ones.
So like I like the fact that it's like at 11th level you can make an attack. So you are taking this action instead of doing your multi-attack, and boom, if I hit, I can do more damage on all subsequent attacks. I think that's pretty nice. I still took an attack, so I could use my offhand weapon on it still. A lot of fun there, but I wouldn't be getting 3 attacks that round. I'd be getting 2. 15th level, Devastating Assault. This is one that I would need to make a change on this. But essentially, you look for a weakness in your opponent, and if you're successful, the next time you successfully hit the target with a weapon attack, you deal an additional 12d10 force damage. Once you've triggered their force damage, you can use this ability again when you finish a short rest. I think that is way too powerful for something that you make an attack with, and that can do that much damage resetting on a martial class on a short rest.
Yeah, I mean, I might dial it back a little bit to 10 die 10 and make it a long rest, because but I would also probably get rid of the make an investigate check as part of it. Instead of be like bonus action, choose a target, hit next time you hit that target, you're going to do, the extra damage and have it recharge on a long rest. I compared it to the Warlock through Hell ability, so it's not so far off that like, oh, this is a garbage ability.
No.
I think this needs to be tweaked just a little bit. The fact that it's force damage is another factor that makes it a much stronger, because very few things resist force damage.
Right. So to me, literally just changing it to resetting on a long rest, I would be fine with it. Because I'm looking at this as like, all right, somebody's gonna give this guy advantage, and they're gonna roll a crit on it, and it's like, all right, here's 24d10, and that's just what I'm seeing happening here. And
so the next one is Conviction of the Mind. Some Mistwalkers believe that only by strengthening their allies can they achieve total dominance over their opponents. These Mistwalkers spend countless hours perfecting their ability to mistwalk, so much so that they gain the ability to guide their allies through the mist, and eventually their foes as well. For this Mistwalker, the key to swift victory is understanding the battlefield and its entirety, and controlling the positioning and flow of combat. So where the Conviction of the Blade was more of, I'm a warrior, a soloist, these guys are more of tacticians, and they want to work with the team.
So you get some new Shroud abilities. The first one is Oppressive Haze. This is one that's really good for trying to shut down spellcasters. I think it's kind of powerful, but nothing untoward. I just wouldn't want to be a caster that gets hit with this. Disarming Mist. This is the first thing that I'm seeing that an actual disarming action could be useful, because if you are successful, you take the thing out of their hands and put the up to 30 feet away. Sorry.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, up to 30 feet away, which is incredibly useful, because most of the times it's like, oh, drop the weapon at your feet. All right, it's my turn. I use my free interact with object and pick it up and then swing at you. There's no detriment whatsoever, to being disarmed.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, can I use my free action after I disarm to kick it away?
Yeah, so like that's what you need to do. And here, I get it out of your hand and I get it 30 feet away. To me, golden. Obstructing Shroud. Choose one larger, smaller creature you can see within 10 feet of you. The target must succeed on a con save, or else has disadvantage on attacks until the end of the turn. Not bad. It just is like, oh, there's something in your eyes.
Yeah, I thought that was weird as a con save. To me, it feels like it should be Dex or Wisdom. But, I didn't write it. So I don't know. I don't like, because con is like, to me, that's like you're resisting poison, or, your or exhaustion or something like that.
Debilitating effect.
So let's see. We also have Swift Guidance. As a bonus action, choose a number of creatures you can see within your mistwalk distance. You spend 1 shroud point per target to give them an additional 15 foot of movement. So again, this is more about that idea that you're going to bolster your allies, and you can add to their movement.
Tenacious Mind. Once a day, you can recover your shroud points during a short rest. Pretty handy, if you ask me. 3rd level, you also get Calculated Exchange. Choose 2 willing, medium-sized, or smaller creatures, and you transpose them. It's forced movement, so there's no attacks of opportunity. So hey, your rogue's getting the crap pounded out of them by that troll. Let's pick up the fighter, pick up the rogue. They switch places. Yay! Rogue can now get healed by the cleric.
Veiled Fairy is basically you can move people around with you when you Misty Walk. So again, that's going to give you more control over the field. At 13th level, you can use this ability even more often. You can use it a number of times equal to twice your intelligence modifier. This is one of the ones. There's a couple of these where it's twice your intelligence modifier that just seems a little weird to me, because that's not generally done in 5e as far as that. It's usually your modifier or something else like resets on a short rest.
So we're not going to go through all of the abilities. Conviction of the Shroud. Some Mistwalkers delve so deeply into the studies of the mist that they learn to manifest its raw energy with added effects. These Mistwalkers manipulate the mist to their advantage and push the boundaries of its true capabilities. As much scholars as warriors, these walkers frequently become obsessed with unraveling the mist's secrets. So these guys are I think more heavily focused on the intelligent aspect of the Mistwalker, and they get some cool abilities to go along with it.
Yeah, so they also get some like vampiric abilities and some minor healing abilities to go along with it, as well as like this is the magic-y component of the Mistwalkers.
Right. So like, vital transference, you get the ability to heal somebody else by hurting yourself. So it's kind of weird to have that mechanic, but I got no problem if you want to take some damage to yourself to heal somebody else. 7th level, they get toxic mists. It's a area effect thing that can make it hard for people to breathe. The breathing mechanic in 5th edition D&D is a little bit wonky, so it'll be interesting to see how that winds up playing out.
And again, this is another one where it's twice your intelligence. Like I said, there's a couple of those that come up. I don't know why they grind my gears a little bit.
Again, we're not going into everything, but 15th level Dauntless Mist. Starting at 15th level, you can harness your raw power of the mist to bolster you and your allies. As an action, choose a number of creatures equal to your intelligence mod. Within your mist walk distance, those creatures become sheathed in dark purple mist. Whenever one of those creatures starts their turn within half your mist walk distance from you, that creature gains a +2 bonus to their AC, an additional 1d4 temporary hit points, and they cannot be magically slowed. The effect lasts for a minute, and it resets on a short or long rest. Yes.
After that, the only thing we have left is multi-class, and it gives the rules for that. But, we did a bit of jumping around. Overall, like I said, there's a couple tweaks I would make. I don't see anything as going to, like, totally destroy your game or derail it. I feel like the Mistwalk concept as an idea for flavor or fluff in a world could be great. I would love, especially maybe even if you're playing a Ravenloft game where you can have some darker elements to the mist. Or maybe you want to let the Mist of Ravenloft inspire you a little bit, but I think it's a decent add to your game. Like I said, as if I would run it by your GM first. If you're the GM, I would look it over and decide if you're happy with everything there. I think with a few minor tweaks, most GMs will be okay with this.
I would agree.
So with that, let us know, are you playing a Mistwalker? Have you played a Mistwalker? Will you play a Mistwalker? We got a place where we can discuss it. Down in the comments below. While you're at it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
You can check us out over on nerdarchy.com.
So until next time,
stay nerdy.